Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Back to On The Cusp. Got my co-host Matt Snyder here. We're working on season 8, but this is for the BRF. This is a special guest, okay? Justin Wilkinson from Multipack. And this is special for us because we brought you to Shreveport for a very unique reason, to build Multipack in Shreveport. So Justin, welcome to Shreveport. Moved here, been here a few months, brought the family too.
I did.
Okay, so you got a unique perspective of this, and you've been in California and Virginia, and now you're gonna do this in Shreveport, so it's super exciting for us. Tell us, what is Multipack?
Multipack is a contract manufacturer for just about all things beverage.
Okay, and
so you're bottling and canning beverages. So they send you the product in huge.
Absolutely.
So how does that even work? Is there like humongous vats of whatever liquid it is?
No, in fact, it's 5-gallon pails often.
Oh, cool.
But the way it works is we either have the turnkey approach where if you have a product and you want to get it to market, we can do that for you. We can set up your entire supply chain, and then with our relationships with all of our vendors, we get preferred pricing. And then there's also the biggest barrier of entry for that is just minimum order quantities. So again, because we have such relationships, we're able to help people with better quantities than having to buy entire truckloads or warehouses of materials. But on the other side of that, you have where you have your whole supply chain built out, and you come to us and you say, I want to pay a per unit tolling, and then at the end of a month, I'll have several thousand pallets of finished goods. So in that case, we would take all of your dry materials, your liquid materials, and then we would batch that, and then with your blessing, we would produce that and provide COAs and finished product releases, and you'd have your product ready for distribution.
Cool. So here we love the entrepreneurial story, the how we got into this kind of stuff. So that sounds so big to me and so grandiose, and like, how would you ever start that? How did you get into this?
Well, I don't know how far back you want to go.
You can go as far back as you
need to go to tell the story.
But personally, I had to develop grit at a young age. With learning disabilities and not a ton of options back then, so I just had to develop some grit. And so as a result, after I was done with college, I had an opportunity to intern at a local distillery.
Oh,
and
cool.
I loved the idea because I had done home brewing in college, and I wanted to turn a hobby into a vocation.
Yeah.
So I volunteered there for as long as I could, and eventually it was a one-man company, and he said, I think I have to start paying you. So I became his first employee, and after doing contract bottling and contract distilling and private events, we had our first big fish, which was a certain peanut butter flavored whiskey. And so they came to us and they said, we really want to get this to market. And so over 8 months, we developed the supply chain and we developed the finished product so that it didn't look terrible sitting on the shelf.
Right.
And it blew up and it went national. And,
that's awesome.
And they kind of left us in the dust because we were far too small for their needs.
Right.
So that was the aha moment, which led to we need to get bigger so that people don't grow beyond us.
Yeah. Okay, so you started like I think a lot of people have seen local breweries across this country now, very hot, or distilleries and guys in the back bottling and canning on these little lines. So that's basically where you were starting off.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of small breweries, a lot of small manufacturers, what they faced after COVID was we don't have the throughput to keep the lights on. So they started getting into contract manufacturing. And so now a lot of breweries are keeping the lights on by making ciders or teas or anything non-alcoholic for their customers. And so we face the same dilemma, and as a result, we put all of our chips into making other people's products. We don't make anything of our own.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So you do this in California.
Yes.
And you grow this facility. What is that? So how long have you had that facility in California now?
That's been operating, I believe, just over 5 years.
Cool. And tell us about the production levels and where you've gotten that to.
Well, we started off in 10,000 square feet. We were producing as best as we could, but we were choked on space immediately, so we grew to 30,000 square feet. And then as soon as you stretch your legs, you're out of room again. So we ended up getting our current facility, which is 100,000 square feet, and that is still full.
Oh my gosh.
Today.
So your 100,000 square foot facility in California is full.
But
then they sent you to Virginia to launch another plant.
Yes, exactly.
How big was that one?
So that one was roughly 30,000 square feet because we had all this legacy equipment that wouldn't work in the new space that we had built. So we took all this old legacy equipment and we said to this Virginia partner, how would you like to have all the equipment tomorrow? Because the biggest problem is I think equipment takes almost a year to get now. So if you can, the value was we can get you equipment tomorrow and then we'll build it with you. And then ultimately, instead of merging together, we just did an asset sale.
Oh, so you sold to them. So then how big is your facility here in Shreveport?
This is 78,000 square feet.
So the building that you're in now is 78,000 feet. How many product lines are you going to have?
We'll have one bottle line and one canning line. However, the canning line will support roughly 24 finished product pack outs. So it'll do cartons, 12-pack trays, 24-pack trays, 4-pack cartons, 8-pack cartons, 12-pack cartons. And then the line itself can produce carbonated and non-carbonated as well. So 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans, 19.2-ounce cans. When you get into all those variables, at the end of the day, I think you're left with something like 40 or 50 different pack outs that you can do.
Wow. So somebody comes into you, they contract to you for a specific size container with specific wrapping, marking, and what comes out is a packaged, sealed product that goes on a truck to wherever.
Yeah, so you ship it.
That's right.
Once it's done, you ship it to like the big distributor type.
The way that we operate is we say, we are your solution for packaging, not for distribution. If you want to be really good at something, you have to focus on one thing.
Okay, cool.
And so we are really good at manufacturing, and we allow our customers to handle their own distribution.
So you send it to them.
We have a warehouse, and we say, have your trucks arrive on time.
I got you.
We don't do any of the freight booking.
I got you.
Right. So they send their trucks, they pack out.
They pick it up.
Just a
They
fill and
pick it
ship
up.
operation.
That's right. So
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yep.
So let's talk about the Shreveport plant. Okay. I've been down there. You're in the process of, well, you're almost finished building the production lines. It's amazing. I did not realize that you had all those mixers and vats and all those things. That was impressive. When you're at full capacity, how many employees you think you're going to have?
I think per shift, we'll be right around 45 to 65. It just depends on what the project demands. When it comes to variety packing, which is very popular right now, it's labor intensive because if you have 4 flavors going into that carton, you can't produce all 4 flavors on the same day. So you have to produce 100 pallets of each flavor until you get to the last one, and then you can start your variety packing. So when it comes to projects like that, there's times where we have to have a pretty large influx. We'll take 15 more people and we'll have them for a few months, and then we will figure out who's better for the long-term projects, and we'll work them into the other production lines.
Wow, that's a big operation.
It can be, yeah.
And right now we're working with you and several HR companies here in town. We're fixing to have a job fair.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I just wanted to throw that out because it's a big deal, because we think, your Louisiana Economic Development has come in. They're doing your training. They're helping you, develop the training line. So this is a big deal for Shreveport.
It's a big deal for us. We've never had this opportunity, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
All right, I want to turn down a different road for a second.
Sure.
And I want you to be as honest as you can in this, because I think this is helpful for us, the guys that want to make this area better and want to make it more appealing for people like you that are coming in to bring jobs and to bring business. So I want real answers if you can. When you came and looked at Shreveport and you thought about moving your family here, what are things that you've loved in this few months? Things like, and it can be as specific as you want to, certain restaurants, whatever, and things that we're lacking that we could get better. I mean, we can't go make an ocean or a mountain,
right.
But outside of those things, I'll ask this to every out-of-towner coming, especially somebody in the business space.
Yeah.
So walk me down the move. Walk me down selling it to your wife,
So interpersonally, I had already snatched my family out of California and brought them to Virginia. And that we were there for a calendar year, and that was it. And so coming here, I had some anxiety around, will my wife and child be happy? And ultimately with them, it was, as long as we're in a safe neighborhood and we have the availability of enrichment.
Right.
And so we're across the street from R.W. Norton Art Gallery.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's free. It's, I think, 40 acres. It's gorgeous. We go there almost every Saturday, and we just walk the garden. We walk to Rhino Coffee.
Yeah.
I love being able to just walk out the front door and having something to do that doesn't cost anything. And that I do appreciate that they have that here. As far as the business owner and trying to gather resources and materials, it's actually been amazing. I don't know if it's because of the oil fields or the gas deposits, but
right.
the industrial resources out here is phenomenal.
I think that's really under-realized by a lot of people.
Oh yeah, as an example, so I had to find something that I typically only find online through Granger Industrial. You have to pay for freight, and it's all overpriced. And I called the local Granger rep, and he said, "Don't buy it from us. Like you got Barteet's Plastic. Just go there. They've got all your plumbing that you'll ever need." And sure enough, it was less than half price.
That's awesome.
And it's a local business. And then, anytime I go to Barteet's and I say I'm looking for this, they say, well, go to JBJ or go to National Wholesale. And so it's like the community is there's this synergistic, hey, I may not have what you need, or what I have is a little bit overpriced. The neighbor down the street has it.
Dude,
and that's phenomenal.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So far, wife and child are good?
Yeah, absolutely. We found a great house without really having to try very hard. We're renting, and the day that I pulled the moving truck up, the neighbors came out, and they all introduced themselves. And the neighbor happens to have twin daughters of the same age as mine.
Oh, cool.
So it's just the community showed up and they showed out. And the drive into work, it's not the prettiest drive.
Right.
The city definitely needs a lot of love and careful attention, and I think ultimately it's going to take a lot of vision and somebody to carry that flag for longer than just one term.
Right.
But I think that Shreveport is very welcoming. I mean, just the people, the few interactions I've had have been very encouraging.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. And that's the stuff that I think that is what we kind of are about, is the meshing of bringing the jobs and having a culture and a community that can keep somebody like you and your family here and wanting to be here. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal.
This has been an exceptional experience for us at the BRF with you picking Shreveport and making sure that, you know, we line up everything for you, okay, that you need to be successful. So, and I'll just go and say it, we're going to have a job fair. We know we think right now you got to create about 140 jobs in this region, and we got a deadline, right? We know when we got product got to roll out, okay? And we, the BRF, are damn glad to be able to say we're going to help you meet that goal, man.
It feels good. I love the support.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. That was awesome.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.